Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the JVI Sports Podcast. I'm Cameron Capobianco, and joined by me is the former captain of the Mississauga Steelheads, Liam Ham. Liam, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me, Cameron.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. It's not every day that we get to talk to a former captain in the OHL, especially local too, in the town of Mississauga and Toronto and that stuff.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Again, thank you. But nonetheless, Liam, before we get started with anything, how is quarantine going for you? How's this lockdown and that stuff going?
Quarantine's kind of been the same thing for me as it is everyone. It's been long. You find yourself doing a lot more home projects and keeping busy that way and going for a lot more walks. So no, it hasn't been bad. We've gotten real close with my family, as everyone would be expecting, but it's been pretty good. How about you?
It's not been probably the same thing as you, Liam, as I would say, getting close with the family, going on walks. Can't do a whole lot, but you get your exercise and your cardio and that stuff up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Liam, before we get into, we're going to go by career by career by career. What I mean by that is we're going to go by your ETAHL. We're going to go OJHL when you play with the Aurora Tigers to your transition to Mississauga. And we're going to go, or before Mississauga too, you also played in Niagara. I can't forget about that.
Yeah.
Then we're going to head to Mississauga, and then we're going to head to U Sports, where you're now going to play for the Guelph Griffins coming up, which is pretty exciting in that stuff, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Honestly, I'm just excited for hockey to come back and some normalcy back in my life. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Nonetheless, yeah, I think we're all excited to see. We were hoping to see the OHL make a return. We saw the QMJHL, we saw the WHL, and we saw no Ontario sports return other than the Junior Hockey League.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's terrible news for all the players, and it's weird going back. It's a year ago now. It was when I kind of felt like I was gypped short, but my heart goes out to all the overagers that lost their last year, and all the players. It's been obviously real tough news, and heart goes out to them.
Absolutely. So, Liam, let's jump right into it. What got you into hockey? What made you want to become a hockey player?
Probably from my two older brothers. My dad played hockey growing up, played junior hockey. You hear a lot of good stories about that, how good you are when you're 14 years old and things like that. But then my two older brothers played hockey growing up, and I kind of just got thrown into it and loved it, and kind of just ran with it.
That's amazing. Any particular stories that you have maybe about your hockey start so far? Maybe like skating on the ice with your dad, playing a little, maybe family hockey and that stuff?
Yeah, we were actually just family going through some old stuff. But the other day we were going through some old CDs, and there was a video of us, my two brothers, the three of us were on the pond, and we all started skating away, and my dad was tying our shoelaces, and we were talking to the camera. But those are the fun stories, growing up, getting to look back at, and you really wish you could go right back there, because they're awesome times.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody probably wishes like you. Just go back to the old times with the family, learning how to skate, put your first skates on and that stuff, shooting a puck around, going around. It's always what you want to do. So, Liam, let's jump into the transition from the ETAHL. I got to remember that acronym. That's a tough acronym. I thought the OJHL or the NJHL or the NOJHL. See, I almost said it to the NOJHL. Yeah. It was a tough acronym too. I guess they're both tied at top for me with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nonetheless, you made the transition from the ETAHL heading to the Aurora Tigers for Junior A hockey. Obviously, like I said, the OJHL. What was that transition like going there?
Yeah, it goes from minor hockey, playing for York Simcoe there, and it kind of just that's the biggest jump. It's from playing with guys your own age at 15 to 16 to 21-year-olds. So it's kind of adapting to junior hockey and getting a little bit more freedom, and you're with the guys more, and you have your own team dressing room, all the things that you don't have in minor hockey. You get to go to team events, and you just see the big age gap difference between 16 to 21-year-olds. So it's that was a cool experience for me to have, not close or not far away from home too. It was just in Aurora, so it was great.
Do you have any favorite maybe games that you had down playing for the Aurora Tigers?
It was always fun playing Newmarket Hurricanes. They were always a rivalry of Yonge Street. Newmarket, it was Newmarket Hurricanes and the Aurora Tigers, and there was always battles between those games. But my first year, I remember we played. We had a good playoffs against Wellington, and they had a really good team that year. So looking back at it, like I said, some more awesome stories from the game of hockey, and Aurora was just a stepping stone, but it was awesome.
So let's talk about maybe some of your favorite arenas you played in besides Aurora. I'll name off a couple. Maybe the Oakville Blades home arena, maybe the Patriots home arena, Toronto Lakeshore Patriots, maybe the Junior Canadians. Maybe any arena that really stuck out to you when you were traveling or anything besides playing for Aurora.
Yeah, Oakville had a really nice rink. They had the Olympic pad there. St. Michael's, the Buzzers were down there, and they had a pretty cool rink right on the high school campus there. So that was pretty cool. The colors in the rink were cool, and it was kind of smaller like Aurora. So definitely some cool history in that rink. So probably down there.
Now let's talk about maybe adapting. Like you mentioned, Oakville and Aurora, you got all those. You have regulation ice rinks and that stuff now, even the OHL and that stuff. But when you're playing at 60 Mile Sports Complex where the Blades play, obviously you mentioned the Olympic-sized ice rink. So what was it like maybe adapting to the game there and that stuff, like going from a regular rink to maybe, I don't know, like the Olympic-sized ice rink?
Yeah, they were in a different conference than us. So we played them only twice a year, one in our rink, one in theirs. But I love the bigger ice. You get to skate more. You feel like you're going way faster, and you don't get hit as much. So that's always a treat being a defenseman going back for pucks. But yeah, it was just a lot more space and a lot more time.
So after Aurora, you made your jump to the OHL, playing for the Niagara Ice Dogs at first before heading over to Mississauga. What was that transition like going from the Ontario Junior Hockey League now up to the Ontario Hockey League?
Yeah, that was just another jump. It's not you're playing against the same age bracket of guys, but the talent is just it's definitely a step upward. So
from Newmarket, Ontario, number 29, Liam Ham.
You go from a tier two junior A league with Aurora, where there's maybe one guy that gets drafted to the NHL that league, and then you're going into the OHL and you got first rounders here, there, and it's a big jump in skill wise, but you're playing against the same strength of age bracket and things like that. And obviously the OHL, it has such a big attraction, and the fans are wild in there. So that's always a huge difference between tier 2 and the OHL.
Behind the net for Jones. Jones places off the boards, back to the point for Thomas. Thomas stick handling down low, back for Ham. Ham, left-handed shot, takes a wrist shot, scores.
Now, when you look at maybe getting ready for the OHL, would you say the OJHL kind of helped you prepare for that? And if so, maybe what way did it help you prepare for the big step?
Yeah, it definitely did. It's just junior hockey really is a different beast besides minor hockey. You have a general manager, your parents don't really talk to the coach. You kind of grow up in a sense, and with Aurora, it was just, like I said, it was a stepping stone, but it was a great one. And I learned a lot and kind of brought it into Niagara. And that was just another step, and, becoming my own person, and, really understanding the business side of hockey and seeing everything that hockey has to offer. So, to answer your question, the biggest difference is just the OHL has kind of just had one of those growing up in Ontario. You just always look forward to, ever having the opportunity to play there. And it's a special thing to play in the OHL. It's pretty cool.
And maybe list off a couple of your favorite games for me. Maybe talk to me about maybe any games that you liked in Niagara before we go over to your next OHL team that probably a couple of my buddies most remember you for and are very, very happy that you were there for them.
Yeah, Niagara was I can't forget the it's my second year. I went the year when Hamilton won the Ontario League and went to the Mem Cup. We had a good playoff series against them in 5 games. They were tight games. Those are probably my favorite games. That playoff run, we played Oshawa, beat them in first round, and then Hamilton in the second round, we lost to them. But those, playoff runs are always the coolest things in sports. That's when the game kind of changes and gets a lot tighter and everything means just a little bit more. So probably that playoff run that we went on there.
All right, and now let's look at another OHL team you went to, and that is obviously a team that 2 of my friends, probably you also know too, really love you for, and probably just like I said, just love you for, and just are happy you were there and everything. The Mississauga Steelheads.
By Harley, and he swings it over to his partner Ham. Ham finds Harley, pulls Schwint into the middle. Here's Lazarchuk, and he scores! Alan Lazarchuk with a snipe, posted in.
And another demonstration of some great vision.
Here's
by the
Liam
Steelheads.
Ham in the middle, scores! Liam Ham is tied on the power play.
What a way to come back to the ice for Liam Ham.
Now, talk to me about this. Before we go into favorite games and that stuff, before we go into you getting to see the captain for the Mississauga Steelheads, I want to know something probably more important and fans want to know. How weighted were your jerseys after those Gatorade showers at the end of each game?
Oh, they got pretty wet. There was at times there were 6-7 water bottles getting dumped on guys. So you came in and you were dripping wet, but those are always after a win. So it really didn't matter how wet you got. You were pretty happy at the end of it.
Was it water or Gatorade? Was it Gatorade?
It was water. It was Gatorade. It was any bottles that was on the at the end of the bench there. So it's just, anyone would grab bottles or Gatorade, water, and drop it on the guys.
I felt like this was more important than probably the captaincy and that stuff. It was probably something fans wanted to know.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you got drenched in water. You got drenched in Gatorade. You probably got drenched in just a mix of anything that you probably don't want to expect in a drink to be mixed with at all.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, what was the let's talk about that. You said you were excited. Maybe can you describe a little more about kind of like how you adapted in Mississauga? Like, where's everybody just so chill to have you? Like, were you nervous or that stuff? Like, maybe describe it a little more.
Yeah, well, when I got traded, it's funny. Getting traded in sports is always kind of cool. It's, you play against and you go toe to toe with guys, and then you could be their teammates on the next day. So going over to Mississauga is a warm welcome. I had a good group of guys. My first year with Mississauga is I had, Owen Tippin, Ryan McLeod, Jacob Ingham, Cole Carter. They kind of brought me in, and it was awesome to see them and just build more relationships. And then coming into my second year is just kind of like second nature. The coaching staff and the management there in Mississauga is top tier, and they really developed a winning culture there. And JR and Brendan Taylor, Jeff Kazakos, you can go up to Tom Frater as equipment manager, Bina Brower, the athletic therapist. They're just top tier. And Mississauga it was awesome. Hopefully they can manage to get some more fans, because that is an awesome place to play. And
so
it's great. Mississauga is a great spot. Like, the location's great. It's not far away from Toronto. If you ever want to go to a game down there or hang out down there, it's a great, like I said, the business and the hockey. It's awesome in Mississauga. It just, I think it has a lot of room to grow, and fans to really appreciate it, and I think it'll just take off from there.
So Liam, any favorite games too? We were talking about Aurora. We were talking about Niagara. Now let's head into Mississauga. Any favorite games you had playing there?
This past year is probably the Kitchener game with when we got to honor Reese and his family at center ice, and he got to drop the puck, and God rest his soul, but it was a special game. We were funny story about that game. We were in the in the hallway to go out for the third period. And someone said it, but Cole Schwint someone said, "Hey, Schwinter, you're going to get 3 this game." And it was actually, and then he went out and got a hat trick and scored the OT winner. So it was kind of an awesome game. That the fans were allowed that game. There was probably 4,000 people in the building. So that was a special game. It was that one I'll remember for a long time.
Any other games too? You didn't talk about last year. Maybe we can go back a little bit more from when you even first got there. Maybe your first goal in a Steelheads uniform.
Yeah, well, that one. Who was it against? I think it was.
I think we might have just teased your brain a bit. That might be a while back.
Could have been Hamilton, maybe. I think. But when I got traded to Mississauga, we were running on a little bit of a heater, and we were like lost 10 games in a row or something. So I thought I'd brought some bad juju to the guys. And then there was a point in the season where we just kept on taking down the top ranked teams in the CHL. Like we took down Ottawa, we beat Niagara, and Niagara was loading up. And then London as well. And that was like back-to-back games. So I remember that we went a little bit of a hot roll there, and we were taking out some top teams. So that was probably the coolest point of last season.
For you. You also got the C in Mississauga. What was the feeling like there? Getting named captain of really a great team and everything, and just leading them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I've always kind of held myself to try to be a leader, and not just be a raw leader, but lead by example. And to get that news that I was going to be the captain, it was pretty special. And it's one of those things that you don't really get how cool it is until people kind of slow it down. And being a captain in the OHL is it's a pretty cool thing, and it's a humbling experience. Having, like I said, when I was 21, and it's having 16-year-olds look up to you. And we had a great rookie bunch, and one guy that I still talk to every day is Ethan Delmastro. He's my D partner. He's a 16-year-old. We were roommates on the road, and it's those things that makes hockey pretty cool. It's right.
So now let's head into Guelph now, and before, obviously what should have been maybe you playing this year turned into a little bit of a delay because of an ongoing pandemic called COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing about saying maybe right now this could be a good opportunity for you to be training right now, which you probably are. Don't get me wrong. So what are some things that you can take with you to Guelph from your time in the, like I said, all your leagues, the OJHL, the OHL, the ETAHL? What are maybe some of the things you take away from that to help you get ready for U Sports?
I think the biggest thing is kind of just to jump on in and don't be timid. I mean, you look at now, I'll be considered a rookie going in that league, but you try to maybe take the momentum that you had finishing junior and kind of carry it on into U Sports. And Guelph's a great spot for that. And the culture is what brought me in, and the skill that they bring in every year is pretty cool. And like I said, it's not far from home, so it's good in that way. But it's a winning culture, and the fact that they want their players to continue after university sports and try to pursue a professional opportunity after that is what's unique about them.
So what are some things that you can still feel you can improve on to bring your game to the next level as you head into U Sports?
Yeah, probably just being consistent every night. I like to think of myself as a puck moving defenseman, and first pass and jump up in the play, but there's two sides of the ice, and always working on my D game and getting faster, stronger as I get older. And there's some things that just come with time and age, but always work on little fine-tuning things, because that's a big difference. Like guys that make it to play professional hockey is just the everyday consistency and the little things that they master day in and day out. So it's just whether it be retrieving pucks or clearing guys out in front of the net, or having your stick here instead of there, it's little things that need work.
But let's focus, since we have you here as a former captain and that stuff, how important is mental health in the game of hockey?
Oh, it's huge. it was one of those things that for a time there, I don't think it was as recognized or as paid attention to as it is now. But, you know, you have to be just as mentally, I think you have to be mentally stronger than you have to be physically strong, because, you know, there's a lot of ebbs and flows, and not in just hockey and life, right? There, you know, everyone has to think that players growing up, they have things going on in their outside their lives too. So, you know, it's at some point you just have to, you know, reset. And the thing, like a team sport, hopefully no teammate ever feels lonely or they can't talk to someone, because, you know, you have 23 brothers on the same team that are just willing to talk to you, and no one's ever alone. It's, you know, it's these times you kind of really reflect, and with COVID especially, not being able to see family and friends for a long time, it's, you know, it takes a toll on everyone. So you
have a foundation called, I believe it's Hammer Down on Cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that's actually a bike ride every year. It's the Northern Pass bike ride. It's all the profits get to go to a Princess Margaret Cancer Society. It's down in Toronto. It's the cancer hospital down in the city where my dad was spent a lot of his time going back and forth with chemo and radiation treatments. So, you know, that the money that my family personally raises, it goes to the team of doctors that worked with my dad and had a very hands-on approach with my dad. And, you know, they helped him out a lot. And yeah, it's every year there's a 40K, 100K and 160 kilometer bike ride up in Muskokas. So you get on your road bike and you're riding through the beautiful country, you're seeing some lakes, you know, you stop at the brewery. It's a great event, and you know, we put our best forward and we try to raise as much money.
Absolutely. Liam, thank you for opening up about that, like a personal little story there. I'm pretty sure even athletes or maybe even kids watching this when this comes out will be watching this and be like, more people looking up to you and that stuff, and how you kind of like that fan base too, just like how you open up about it as a former captain, as a former player yourself, and just hearing you open up about it is really cool to hear. So again, thank you for telling me that. I really do appreciate hearing that.
Absolutely.
And these guys are going to love to hear it. So Liam, we're going to have a little fun with you. It's going to be a little game we're going to have. You can use any teammate you want. I'm going to throw a question. I used this in a previous interview too with former OJHL MVP and Harrison Israel's playing for the Oakville Blades now at Alaska. It's you pick a teammate, and it's going to be a question as, let's say, who would you give maybe the aux cord to and that stuff? Who would you do that?
All right. Sounds good.
Pass that. All right.
Perfect.
So we'll start it now. So let's start off with that question then. Who would you pass the aux cord to in the car on a drive?
On the drive, it's either right now it's probably my girlfriend or myself. I'll take the reins of it. But in the locker room last year, you know, it was Cole Schwint had some good tunes he'd throw on. He was always read the room the right way. You know, if he needed some pickups, slow down, he did a good job with it.
And if you ever got hit in a game, maybe who would you say the teammate was to back you up? Who would you throw that on to?
I got to throw it to my man, Nick Canati. He's always the first one to drop his gloves and get in there and help out. He's a little feisty guy, but he'll do some damage.
Let's think. This is even tough for me. I'm trying to think of these. I'm trying to think of some fun ones too. Okay. Who would you maybe say is the guy who could eat the most on the team?
Eat the most? Oh, probably Duncan Penman. He could put a dent in, if he put some wings in front of him, he could put a big dent in them for sure. Yeah.
Who would you say maybe the biggest, who would you say has the biggest love for cars and love for cars? Who wants the sports car in the future?
Well, I don't know. I'm a pretty big car guy actually. So
you could say yourself. We could take
I could say myself. I like cars, and probably Nick Canati's another guy that has a passion for cars as well.
And my last one for you is, who would you say is the biggest heavy hitter on the team? not again. We all heard Nick Canati with your who would stand up for you in a fight, but who would be the biggest heavy hitter you would have to say on that team or on a team maybe from Niagara, Aurora, Mississauga?
Kean Washerek was pretty tough, and he threw some big heavy hits. I'd probably say him.
All right. Well, Liam, that's going to do it for the quiz. That's going to do it for this interview. Thank you so much again for taking the time out of your day to do this. I really do appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Guys, Liam Ham, former captain of the Mississauga Steelheads, former Aurora Tiger, former Niagara Ice Dog, you name it, the list just goes on. Now currently going to the University of Guelph to play for the Griffins in U Sports.